of the #1 podcast. I am your host, Coach Jake. Hope you guys are doing good today. It is Thursday. Can't believe it. What's up, Okanasi, Your Majesty, Shinobi Twist, David Gomez, Nick Sickmondo. Happy to see you guys. Hit me up at the chat. Any questions? I am asking the question today. Where do you get your information from? How do you know what you know? How do you know that it's right? Where do you get your information from, right? Because it's going to change your whole perspective on things, right? So we obviously know there is political bias, there's propaganda. Hello, Nick Sick Mondo. Where are you from, dude? Ansel Brandon, Pro Ord. Good to see you guys. It is another day in paradise. Tomorrow, I'm excited. I get to meet up with the legend, the king of pro wrestling, Minoru Suzuki, founder of Pancrase, pioneer, founding father of MMA before the UFC ever opened. You guys know that, right? You know the UFC is not the first MMA. In fact, it's one in a long line. Pro Ord, what's up, man? What's up? So yeah, how do you know what you know? Where do you get your info? Yeah, Minoru Suzuki. Having brunch with him tomorrow. So it's like him and me and his handler. It's super cool. Can't believe it. You know, I was supposed to have him out for a seminar in 2000. I want to say it's 2007 or 8, and there just wasn't enough demand. Nobody knew who he was, and I'm like, guys, it's like when I was trying to push Billy and trying to push Fujiwara and Carl, and man, it just so here we are. What is this? 14 years later now, I get to hang out with him. I'm super excited. So yeah, man, I'm curious. Where do you get your information from? How do you know what you know? Do you get your information from MSNBC? Nick Sickmondo 897 says, I'm from Mexico. What is up, Mexico in the house? Practice BJJ, but your style, it's always wrestling. Yeah, dude, you got to do wrestling, man. I got in an argument today. Some guy got pissed because I said that Maeda was in the influence to create Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Oh, no. So I posted up a picture. I'll post it on Instagram later tonight. A picture of Maeda doing catch wrestling before he ever went to Brazil and before he ever met the Gracies. And then he went on to just go on and on. I'm like, dude, I hate to break it to you, man. Have you seen the thing now? Google this about Helio Gracie and his ties to the fascist Nazi, the Axis groups. And then you look at the stuff with Rafael dos Santos. Have you seen all that stuff? It's no good, man. It's no good. Rob McClenny, what's up, bro? Pro Ward says, damn, that's sad. Oh, about Minoru Suzuki. Yeah, man, it was a shame. That could have been 14 years ago. He says, at least it's happening now. Yeah, dude, tomorrow. Well, it's not really a seminar. It's just for me, man. I normally try to share with you guys, share my opportunities, but I'm going to take this one for me. I'm excited. Going to hang out with him. Fontaine, Austin, what's going on? Nesto JB, I am focused. George P. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, guys, hit me up in the chat, man. So I want to ask you a question. I keep asking this question, and nobody's really telling me. Where do you get your information from? Do you get it from MSNBC? Do you get it from CBS? Do you get it from Fox? Do you get your information from the Drudge Report, from Zero Hedge, from InfoWars, from Twitter, from Facebook, from word of mouth? Where do you get your information that you base your opinions, that you make decisions about your life on? Do people ever think about this? Like, where do you get your information from? We live in the freaking information age. You know, I think so many of us, Fontaine Austin, YouTube. Okay. You get your information from YouTube. Now, there's a lot of censorship on YouTube as well, right? People get deplatformed a lot. Is that right? I don't follow. I watch YouTube, but it's not like my main thing. Let's see. So Puerto Rican Rum, what's up, dude? Says the mainstream news outlets died a long time ago. Yeah, they just got replaced. Different way of propaganda. I think now it's these narrative, what are known as narrative networks. Uh, how do you know? Do you get it from books? Do you read books, man? Look, I've written a lot of books. You guys know probably Say Uncle and Physical Chess, the one I co-wrote with Billy. This one, Endonomics. You guys know this one? It's what is the subtitle? Default Deflation Derivatives and the End of the United States as We Know It. Yeah, there's my name right there, Jake Shannon. Wrote that in 2011. It's been pretty spot on. It's not even very long, dude. By the time I get to the end, it's 86 pages. Not super long. Wrote Teocon, my picture of Sarah Palin and Glenn Beck from back in the 2010-ish era. See if you can see that. Again, another book of mine. This one, what I actually exposed, it's at the beginning of the Tea Party. It's referenced. I mean, Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, they all mentioned it on their shows. The same premise that the Tea Party, the new Tea Party of 2010 anyway, the Tea Party movement started out as a pro-liberty, like anti-tax, like to get rid of the Federal Reserve and to get rid of the 16th Amendment, stop taxation, and got co-opted. And it was very interesting. So I lay out how the national intelligence apparatus manipulated with the media and some celebrities like Glenn Beck and Sarah Palin and to co-opt and change that whole movement into a typical pro-state, big government Republican platform. So that was an interesting one. What's Pro Ward says? I should totally check out those books. Do, man, they're on Amazon. Fontaine Austin says, yeah, that's true. I can't even remember what we were talking about. Let's see. We've got Puerto Rican Rum. Jake, if you had a blank check, who would be the voices on commentary of Shoot Pro Wrestling? So, I'm pretty excited. Yesterday I was just going off on all these wins that I've been having and very grateful for that. And thank you to everybody that's involved. We've got a new affiliate in Orlando. I'm meeting Minoru Suzuki tomorrow. God, what else? Like I've got two businesses that I've just launched that are different than Scientific Wrestling. I've launched them in the last year or so, and they are just blowing up. I'm just so grateful. My family is healthy and happy and all that. So very, very, very grateful about all that kind of stuff. The one thing that I'm working on that I haven't gotten a win is to get sponsors for Shoot Pro Wrestling. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for about $6,000 or $7,000 in sponsorship. Doesn't have to be all with one sponsor, but somebody go look at Shoot Pro Wrestling. Go to shootprowrestling.com. You can also go to what else? You go on YouTube, okay, and go look at the 3 Shoot Pros that we put on. They get better every time. This next one I want to take to the next level, but I need sponsors to help me with that. So please help up. What's up, Marty Jones? Number 1, bro. That's for you, dude. I love it. I love it. I wasn't even that when I came up with that for my non-wrestling business. And maybe you planted the seed in my head. I don't know, but it's great. I love it. Crash Daddy, what's up, man? Happy to see you. So Puerto Rican Rum, to answer your question, if I had a blank check, who would I have as the voice? You know what? I have a friend, and he runs the Pro Wrestling History Nerds podcast. His name is Nick Gossard, and he's the one who actually booked Minoru. He was the voice of the commentary, the lead commentary for Shoot Pro 2, which was the competitive tag teams that we did. Crazy as shit. Dude, if you've not seen that, go to YouTube and look up Shoot Pro 2. Trust me, you'll thank me for it. Message me, watch it. Those matches are unbelievable. But the commentary was fantastic because Nick Gossard is he's a pro wrestling promoter. He's a pro wrestling historian. And he's also, I don't know what belt he is in jiu-jitsu, but he's like above blue belt somewhere. So this is a guy who's very, very knowledgeable. Go listen to him. Honestly, I would take him over any big name person. Now, if I could have color commentary, My next show, I'm hoping to maybe, it depends what happens. Again, sponsorship money makes all the difference in the world, because that'll change the level of the athletes that I can book because of the purse I put up. It'll affect a lot of things. It'll affect the amount of advertising I can do to make sure we get enough eyes on it. So if you guys know somebody, who do you know that is a big fan of Catch as Catch Can Wrestling, wants that exposure, believes that we have a complimentary audience. The first Shoe Pro, when I did it for free, and it was the first show, I had no names on it. We had 21,000 views on it just on Facebook alone. That was the only place I broadcasted it to. Now, just like this podcast, I broadcast to a page with over 40,000, another page with over 40,000 on Facebook, my Scientific Wrestling YouTube that has, I think, millions of views on the videos, LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter. I'm on every platform simulcasting right now. That's what we plan to do. We're going to hit as big of an audience as we can. I'm going to pump a lot of advertising spend into it as well. So, guys, if you know somebody who wants to sponsor the show, believes in what Shoe Pro Wrestling has done and wants to do, man, hit me up in the DM. Send them my way. Send them to shoeprowrestling.com. Send them the Shoe Pro Wrestling 2 and 3. I've got to get them a little bit more edited so they look nicer, because those are just the live feeds. So I'm probably going to get those edited here soon and into like match length clips. But if you guys want to see Shoe Pro 4, which I'm going to do, I'm going to title 2 different divisions. I'm going to do the light heavies and the lightweights. So it should be like super action packed. And I promise I'll put either a tag team or a triple shoot on the card. And I really want to start pushing women's catch. Okay. So guys, I need your help. We need sponsors. Again, I'm looking to anywhere, honestly, up to 25 grand would be amazing. All kinds of different ways we can do this to make it make sense for whoever helps. And if there's smaller pieces that you can help, that would be amazing. So let's see here. Puerto Rican Rum says, I think Josh Barnett would be amazing. Yeah, on color, Josh would be great. 100%. Let's see, what else? Yeah, he'd be a good play-by-play man. And then late on arrival, how can I get on the lightweight card? Well, you got to, first of all, here's the fastest route to any of this. Go win a King of Catch Open tournament. We have them in San Diego. We have them in Phoenix. We're going to be having them in Orlando soon. All the affiliates are going to start running these. Go there and get some really good highlight footage. Send it to me. If you have other highlight footage, send it to me so I can see where you're at. This is a showcase. If you're just going to be real, if you're just like a dabbler guy or a gym wrestler or something, it's cool. I'm glad that you're interested, but I want guys that have already medaled in a big way, in particular in both wrestling and grappling and MMA. Those 3 things, that's where I really want to book from. So hope that answers your question. But where do you guys get your information from? Here's another book. I wrote this one. That one's washing out bad. Anomaly, Revolutionary Knowledge in Everyday Life. I wrote this back in 2009. Pretty amazing how prescient this book has been, especially with all the COVID lockdown, medical fascism bullshit that's been going on. Now, a lot of my writings, actually, these 2 are not available there, but most of this and some other writings are available for free at my website that is named after my old radio show called Mental Self-Defense, mentalselfdefense.com. You can go over there. What's up, Dan? Mastermind Martial Arts. What's up, Born of Tear, Preferred Blur, Miles Blagan, Jose. What's up, Ishmael, Prince of Manlets. Don't know what that means. Beerwolf Jitsu, X95 Lee. We've got a bunch of people up in this room. Jadal Lantorol, I don't know how to say it. Leonel, T. Scott Wheeler. What's up, people? Puerto Rican Rum is asking out on YouTube, would you do something WrestleMania weekend, or is that market overstretched already? I was going to do that last year. Frankly, I don't think there's any benefit to it, honestly. I think people are overstretched. They're probably spending too much money on wrestling, watching too much wrestling already. Ideally, if I had the sponsor show up tomorrow and I could go run, I can get it booked and no problem. I know enough grapplers and fighters and wrestlers, but I think I could get a show banging by mid December. No, I'm sorry, mid November. Um, but if I don't, it takes me about 6 to 8 weeks to put everything together, start promoting hard to make it happen. So again, the key right now for those of you guys who are fans of Shoot Pro Wrestling is getting some sponsorships. The other thing is too, I would rather not do it, but if we have more affiliates, that too will help finance some of the Shoot Pro Wrestling as well, right? So scientificwrestler.com, shootprowrestling.com. Those are my two main focuses right now. I obviously still have all the things that I built, like Scientific Wrestling, which is the educational resource. I'm still ramping up. I still am constantly improving that. I don't know if you got a membership. Once you get in now, in the next about week or so, it's going to be segmented for 3 different tiers of membership. There's going to be for members, and you get you'll be able to watch all the DVDs on the inside. You'll also get a discount if you want the hardcover. Well, they're not DVDs, I guess, if you watch them. You'll be able to watch them streaming inside. There's forums, there's articles, things like that. Then you'll also be able to bump it up. And if you come to a Coach and Catch seminar, there'll be another tier membership where you'll have access to a bunch of the videos, instructional videos that are relevant for the Coach and Catch course. So it'll really function as a way to remind you of what we went over, because sometimes, it's a little overwhelming. Anybody that's gone will tell you the amount of information. It's like drinking out of a fire hose. We really pour it on. So that'll be available. And then there'll be a third tier of membership inside for the affiliates, where then they can start actually tracking their business and, get stats and all that kind of stuff and how they get paid. Super excited. So I'm building that out. But that was phase 1. Phase 2, so that still exists, has all the books, has all the instructional materials, blah, blah, blah. Phase 2 was when I moved beyond producing DVDs, producing informational material, books, things that moved into actually providing opportunities for interaction. So we started the King of Catch Wrestling, right? For those the first competitive catch as catch can tournament in over about 100 years. No one before us since the modern resurgence of grappling, was doing catch wrestling rules matches. We were the first, and we were the only ones with a rule set co-developed by the god of wrestling, Carl Gotch. Very proud of that. And then in addition to that kind of live participation, we also had live participation with actual training with legends, Fujiwara, Billy Robinson, Dick Cardinal, all those guys. You had opportunities to train. Now, in 2018, we started launching the third phase. The third phase really is focusing on expanding what we've already done, and that is to start pushing into affiliate gym schools and start this bigger platform. So King of Catch is pay to play, right? It's an open tournament. You pay some money, throw it down, guaranteed a bunch of matches, a bunch of mat time. Shoot Pro is like an invitational, right? So it's more like we're aiming for the big leagues with that. I want that big. So I hope that helps. But the question stands, where do you guys get your information from? Where do you get your information, man? When you're debating somebody and you argue, just go online and just find whatever supports your, do you get confirmation bias? You just find whatever article tends to support your case. That's why you lose on the internet when you're arguing, by the way. Where do you get your information from? And like all kinds of stuff. Where do you get it with regards to wrestling? Where do you get your information about politics, about science, about medicine and health and fitness and exercise? I'm curious, man. I want to know where you guys get your information from. Me, I'm a big fan of books, dude. Still, because the thing about books that I like about books, like today, I just purchased the compact Oxford English Dictionary from 1992, and it comes with a magnifying glass because they shrunk it the entire Oxford English Dictionary, which is like looks like an encyclopedia. It's so huge. Anyway, I like books because they freeze the data in time, right? So you could go back and tweak the internet. You could, and I guarantee you that's happening. People going back, changing stories and changing posts and all that kind of shit, right? With a book, it's there. And so it's locked in space. And to me, it seems like it's the same problem as the debasement of currency with inflation. It's harder to change meanings when it's fixed. And when it's fixed, I believe it. Now, I'm not saying language shouldn't adapt and evolve, okay? But it also, like historical records and things like that, how many of you guys actually read 1984 by George Orwell? Do you know what the idea of the memory hole is? The memory hole was this concept where just data disappeared because it went against the narrative of the establishment, right? Of the totalitarian regime in 1984. Well, that's very much so in this book here, Anomaly, right? This book, it's got a very big bibliography, which is like where you cite the sources. Like, man, it's so from page 173 to 191. That's almost 20 pages of like citations, if that makes any sense, right? I don't know if you guys can even see that, the bibliography. You see that? It goes on for like 20 pages where I cite all the sources. And I've gone back to try to find some of those sources, and they have disappeared. They've disappeared conveniently. So, Puerto Rican Rum is saying, what's he saying, man? What you saying? For political info, I watch several sources and try to come up with my own opinion. Yeah, but dude, here's the problem. And that's really all you can do. But if you come to the conclusion yet that it's all bullshit, unless you see it with your own eyes, hear it with your own ears, feel it with your own sense of touch, you actually don't know unless it comes from a very trusted source. And that is not usually behind a screen. Does that make sense? That's usually somebody like your friends or your family or something. Have you come to that awareness yet? And if you have, hopefully then you're not getting upset by all the bullshit that they push on the news, right? All the bullshit. I mean, yeah, okay, great. Yeah, freaking batshit crazy Biden who can't even walk off stage anymore. The guy is like it is really scary. He's got his finger on the nuclear trigger, and he's like pissing off Putin, who they actually have more nuclear warheads than we do. Go to my Twitter. I just shared the stat. So like, don't do that, especially when you're a fucking befuddled old idiot, right? Like, and I'm sorry, I'm not a Trump humper either. That guy's an idiot too, but they're all idiots. And so, we're letting all the weed people off finally, okay, which is a good thing, but we're all going to get nuked. And what about all the people, like all the information that's been suppressed about the side effects and the harm that's come from all these injections? Okay, so you have to be very skeptical. This is really what the premise of this book is about, Anomaly. And you can read most of this book is up at mentalselfdefense.com. And I updated it as best I could with relevant links now that aren't dead. Mentalselfdefense.com. You can read that. It's actually, I broke it into two sections. There's a section on anomaly, and it breaks that in here too. There's two sections. One is anomaly, which is about how do you know what you know, and using the ideas from anomalistics, the study of anomalous data in terms of making better decisions and whatnot. Anyway, that's the first section. The second section is called the New Word Order instead of New World Order. See what I did there? New Word Order. And it's really just about how language and data and information can be used to shape perception. And it doesn't mean it's real. Remember this, guys. Perception's not always reality. I mean, you all fucking been to a magician before. Come on. So get your head out your ass. You don't think they're doing that to you with the news? Like, you got to go watch the old documentary by Noam Chomsky. It's super relevant today. Manufacturer Consent. I'm not a big Chomsky fan politically, but his work with regards to linguistics, the intersection between linguistics and politics is absolutely fascinating. He's an idiot when it comes to economics, but that is a great documentary to watch. Bats MMA says, I love you guys. Love you too, bro. Thanks, man. Bats MMA says, thanks for all the tips. I don't know if they're tips. I'm just telling you my own shit, dude. Telling you like how I've lived and how I try it, right? MJB Traveler 888. Brian did it. Can't wait for an accelerator course in Orlando soon. Dude, yeah. So spring. Dude, my schedule is so fucking nuts. Let me show you, dude. Look, I'm going to show you all the shit that I've done. And this is not complete. This is a page right here. See all that? Those are just all the trips I've taken so far this year. That's all the trips and shit that I've taken and events that I've either been part of or been party to this year. And this, dude, this sheet is like fucking full. Okay. And it's not complete. I wanted to fit Orlando in this year, but it just wasn't in the cards. So I am excited because we are going to be in Charlotte, which will be great. Charlotte, I've never been out there, never run a camp there. And man, it's just crazy because I've been doing these since 2000. Well, as the coaching catch thing, I've been doing them since 2000. When did we do the first one? 2006. That is crazy, man. That is crazy. So what is that? 16 years now? I mean, thousands and thousands of people that we've been able to put the touch on and turn them on to catch can wrestling and get them going. I'm really very proud of that. All over the world. Super excited. And I hope you guys can get to one of these camps. I hope you can. We always have such an amazing time. People love it because it really expands what the kind of establishment, what the average grappler understands about grappling literacy, which is just think about what the average person understands about the world and realize this is what George Carlin used to say, and it's so true. That average person, half the people are stupider than him or her. Okay. So anyway, appreciate you guys. Yeah. So I am a big fan of books in terms of getting knowledge. In terms of getting new knowledge, there are a few sites that I do believe, since I've been following the internet since it was, I got online when Usenet, because I had a roommate who was a mathematician, and he showed me Usenet back in 91. And that's when I first started really getting on the web. And this is before like Netscape or any of that early shit. And so I've really been trying to be sensitive to like, what are the good information sources? You know, for like about a second in the late 90s, about maybe a year, the Drudge Report was good. And then it just totally became a bullshit mouthpiece. Honestly, you know, I know that Alex Jones gets a lot of shit, and he has made mistakes, right? And paid dearly for them. But he also has, like, you know, it's easy to get on somebody for their mistakes, but you got to remember when they were right too. And, you know, he was very early on nailing like some of his old, they were on DVD, his like movies that he would make. I can't remember what they were called. Endgame and shit like that, dude. You got to find those. They were really great. I thought they were really, really well done, well researched. And, you know, he was a good journalist. He'd actually go out in the field and like sneak into like Bohemian Grove and all that kind of stuff. So now that doesn't mean, you know, he kind of became a Trump humper. And I think, you know, once you reach a certain size, a lot of times the intelligence apparatus, and it doesn't necessarily mean in the United States, could be Russia or Israel or any of these other big players in the intelligence game. I think they get their hooks in you. They start pressuring you, blackmailing you. and really changing what can, I mean, look what happened to Gary Webb when he leaked the whole thing about how the CIA was actually the guys bringing in cocaine into coke and crack into the black communities. Dude ended up committing suicide. I don't know how you commit suicide with gunshots to the back of the head, but you can go look up the whole Gary Webb thing, man. Super sketchy. So, I like, it's hard to find. And so I think the most rational way to be, in lieu of smoking evidence, and usually, honestly, the closer it is to your own senses, and again, your senses can be fooled. Remember, I said perception is not necessarily reality. So you've got to remain, I think, a healthy agnosticism, right? This is one of the reasons why I'm a big fan. Have any of you guys ever heard of an author named Robert Anton Wilson? Anybody? Robert Anton Wilson? Am I getting crickets? Give me a shout or a thumbs up or something if you heard of Robert Anton Wilson. This guy is a great writer and a great philosopher. And I think it was, and George Carlin. George Carlin's my favorite all-time comedian. I'm a comedy nerd, love comedy. George Carlin's my all-time favorite. He was the first comedian I ever got to see when I was 16. Saw him live in Denver. Fantastic. Late on Arrivals says Illuminatus trilogy is great. Yeah, if you want to read a really great novel that transcends time, read the Illuminatus trilogy by Robert Anton Wilson and Robert Shea. Great. But, Robert Anton Wilson was a very, very prolific author. But one of the things that he was famous for was this idea of epistemological agnosticism. Okay. That is an understanding of the limits of what you can know. It's a real humility that, and an understanding that even your own the act of being aware at the quantum physics level actually alters reality too. Like, he's very deep, really, really great writer. I highly recommend him. Late on Arrival chimes in, says, it took me decades to realize that I needed to kill my intelligence, though. I don't know if it's intelligence, man. What is intelligence? That's what I was going to title today's talk, right? You see where my thought evolved? I'm like, what is intelligence? Because then I'm like, well, intelligence, information. Where do you get your information from? How do you know what you know? So that's the question of a branch of philosophy known as epistemology, right? Sounds like you're going to spit on somebody. Epistemology. And it's the theory of knowledge. How do we actually understand the world and know that anything is true or not true? Or is anything true? One of the phrases that Robert Anton Wilson really likes is, nothing is true and everything is permitted. And there's some interesting nuance to that, because then if nothing is true, is that statement not true? Right? So you end up in a paradox. But I do think it's very thought-provoking. Hassan Sabbah supposedly said that. He was a very famous assassin from the Hashishin, the old original assassins. And nothing is true and everything is permitted. When you really think about it, there is some truth to that statement, insofar as what I'm saying, that maybe there is some sort of agnosticism required with the information we get. Because, right, we've all had this happen where, like look at how the news works. The news actually works opposite of what the judicial system, right? So there's this idea of the presumption of innocence that's so crucial. It was a revolutionary concept, right? Because we had the Salem witch trials, we had the Spanish Inquisition, we had all these innocent people getting hammered for shit that they didn't even do. They were just accused of doing stuff. We've seen it more recently, Jim Crow, that era, like To Kill a Mockingbird, and even today, to some extent, with the Me Too movement, where just accusations were enough to destroy people that may have very well been innocent. They could have been guilty, but we just don't know. Again, it's that agnosticism that is important, and why proof is important. But look at how the media is. They say alleged killer, and then they rattle on about how this person is thought to have done this stuff. So the trial actually already happens in the media. How is somebody that gets a jury trial is supposed to find somebody that's unbiased. That's the challenge, and that's one of the great things. So when you start studying these things, you start learning things like about the anti-federalists, right? That's not some fringe group that the ATF is tracking right now. This was a group of founding fathers that wrote papers in response to the Federalist Papers, right? Okay, all you people who don't give a fuck about this, what's that musical, Hamilton? That's about the Federalists and Hamilton being the Federalist, right? Creating a federal government. Well, the anti-Federalists were like, okay, cool, man. That's cool, but slow your fucking roll, because you're not going to fucking do this shit unless we're not agreeing to it, and we're not going to ratify your stuff unless there's a Bill of Rights, right? You understand, the Federalists weren't so concerned. The Constitution does not say anything. The Constitution is a very flawed document. It's cool in some respects, but it's flawed. We've got like what is it, 3/8 clause there that says like slaves are only worth 3/8 of a white man with regards to representation in the House of Representatives and Senate and stuff like that. I mean, well, the House of Representatives, like there's some bullshit in it. Let's just be real. And I consider myself a fan of the founding fathers, but let's be real, right? Like if you want to advocate for something, you have to be real about it. And the Constitution was kind of not super duper awesome until the anti-federalists are like, yeah, we're going to need to tack on a Bill of Rights here, motherfuckers. And that's where I think people get confused. So all these guys wearing running the Gadsden flag and wearing Punisher fucking t-shirts and all this shit and saying how they're a constitutional conservative and stuff have no fucking clue of the history, that it was absolutely crucial that the anti-federalists, they were like, we're not going to, and one of the things that they insisted upon was a trial by jury. And so, it's so weird, but everybody needs to know about jury nullification. That right now there's this huge epidemic in the United States. There's a book written about it called 3 Felonies a Day. I can't remember the name of the author. You can go to Amazon, find it. 3 Felonies a Day. And the author shows there are so many fucking laws on the books now that even your little sweet little nice grandma who never does anything wrong is guilty of 3 felonies, at least. And so this is why we have a mass incarceration epidemic in the United States now, right? Land of the free. Okay, what fucking hypocrisy, where we have a fifth of the world's population, but a quarter, 25%. We only have a fifth of the world's population, but 25% of the world's prison population. So, what Biden did today in terms of like letting the marijuana people go, that was a huge thing. It really was. Probably my favorite charity. My favorite author is George Carlin. Where I was going with that is George Carlin said about Robert Anton Wilson that he pretty much learned everything he knew from Robert Anton Wilson. So if you're a fan of George Carlin, you need to start looking into Robert Anton Wilson. But he's my favorite writer. Maybe. I'd say he is. Henry Miller's up there too, man. I don't know if now he's a socialist. I'm not a socialist. I disagree with socialism. I started out as a socialist when I was a young man, before I actually started reading more and saw what kind of fucking shit that it leads to. It sounds great. Sounds awesome, dude. It's like that chick on Tinder, man. The picture looks so fucking good. Then you actually meet her and she's like, rough. No bueno. So anyway, it could be a dude too that you meet on Tinder or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, so my favorite charity is the Innocence Project. They're doing amazing work. And this was something that was really cool when I went out to induct Billy Robinson at the International Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame up in Albany, New York. They give a prize, like one guy gets inducted into the Hall of Fame for some of the work he's done, even though he may not have been an athlete or a promoter or anything like that, but he did some. It's called the Excelsior Award. And I cannot remember the gentleman's name off the top of my head, but he was exonerated after being in prison, falsely imprisoned for years and years and years. That he does a lot of work for awareness, especially in pro wrestling circles. for this problem. So, it was the anti-federalists really that were crucial in all of that kind of stuff happening. And anyway, don't get me going on the history of the political economy. That's like a huge. But I know my history on catch wrestling, and I know the history of political economics fairly well. From the perspective of liberty, I'm very, very much interested in that as an idea. Now, I do want to loop back for those of you who are joining in. Man, this is all like just a wild, it's like all the thread with the pins on the map connecting everything. I don't know, man. I don't know where I'm going with all this shit. Anyway, you guys, you need to be very concerned about where you get your information from, okay? And one of the things that really, really helped me, so this book, I was able to predict the medical fascism we see today. This came out in 2009, okay? So that is 13 years ago. I was writing about what happened. This totally predicted. I was on all the TV shows for predicting the manipulation of the Tea Party and turn into a fascist movement from a libertarian one. And then in this book, predicting all of the economic collapse, dude. Like, how did I do that? How did I do that? Am I psychic? Do I have psychic? I mean, maybe I do, and I'm just fucking clueless, and I don't, because I'm not. I think there is such thing as psychic powers, but I don't think that I have them. So, what do I attribute it to? You know what I attribute it to? Very luckily, when I was a young man, probably 19 or 20, somebody turned me on to first the informal fallacies in logic. So, like ad hominem. The fallacies that make up informal logic. This is the stuff that you find in forensic debate, right? Where you learn to define your terms before you get into a conversation. You don't attack the man, you attack the argument. Petitio principii or whatever. I can't remember some of these Latin names. But that was very crucial. It was a great basis of knowledge to learn as the information age was blooming. It really allowed me to suss out, like, oh, that's not a real, actual logical argument based in any kind of sound, either logic or empiricism, like facts. That served me well, and that's where I started being able to piece things together and suss out. And that radical agnosticism of Robert Anton Wilson is crucial. You guys have to read some of his books. Robert Anton Wilson, brilliant guy. He died the day my daughter was born in 2007. I think it was January 11th. So anyway, guys, it is 43 minutes in, and I have just been fucking bullshitting. And I'm not even stoned, dude. I don't even get stoned anymore. I did, I'll go, like, if I go and everything's cool and I don't got nothing really planned the next day, I will maybe take an edible. I don't smoke anymore because that shit fucks my lungs too much. I might take an edible. I used to do a lot prior to lockdowns. I was doing a lot. But, I think there is something to the idea of this stuff being medicinal. I do think it is a plant that does help. The problem is, and this is a universal, great phrase to remember, write this down. Poison is in the dose. Poison is in the dose. Now, plutonium takes just one molecule, so you need less than that, which is like 0. Cannabis, I think it's good if you're, it's way better than pharmaceutical fucking synthetic bullshit. I think it helps with anxiety. I think it helps with depression. But again, you have to get the right strain and you have to get the right dose. And this is why I do think that the medical approach to it and the study of it and the application. Now, what's interesting here is that this actually is not pharmacy. It's what's known, and this is something you should Google, pharmacognosy, the study of how plants. Now, this is, if you go and you talk to a pharmacist, okay, everybody hates big pharma for a reason. They're fucking shitheels, man. They're awful businesses. Been busted. Bayer busted for giving people AIDS. I mean, all this fiasco of all these people harmed after these injections and all this bullshit. They've definitely got regulatory capture. There's fucking incentives that Fauci should not be collecting money and making as much money he is off of these deals. Just shady shit. But if you go back far enough, you talk to a pharmacist who's an older dude and went to school before the pharmacist, and I do talk a lot about this in my 2009 book. Okay. If you talk to these old school pharmacists, who dare says F big pharma. You got to remember that. And you can't just be afraid because they're fucking telling you the flu's going to kill you and go get a fucking shot, dude. They're not looking after you at all. In fact, I do think one of the things Alex Jones touched on about eugenics and about depopulation, I think that's a pretty sound way to view the power structures on the planet, and you should be fucking skeptical of shit, especially people like Bill Gates and stuff. These guys, how is that guy telling everybody to get fucking shots? And meanwhile, he's on fucking Epstein's Island, not going to jail. This I don't even understand. Even his wife divorced him and shit. Okay. What's late on arrival say? He says, I deny my senses and render under Caesar. What is Caesar's? Well, that'll keep you alive until Caesar says that you are his, right? I'm trying to figure out all these captions to get them off. Who dare says hell nah. Who dare says right. So I mean, I don't know. I get distracted. I get all fucking excited. But you know, the thing is this: you want to make sure that the information that you get has gone through a filter of facts and reason. Now, those facts can be fucking created. This is why you need to see Chomsky's Manufacturing of Consent. This was also something I saw in 1989. I was very lucky to see this early on in my life. His propaganda model with, I think Lippmann, Lippmann. Is it Walter Lippmann? I think so. It's been ages. I talk about it in here as well, 2009. Anyway, if you talk to a pharmacist that's an old enough dude, before the pharmaceutical companies bought all the pharmacies and changed it to basically turn these guys into salespeople as well, what they used to be split into two things: pharmacy, which is the study of these synthetic drugs, which is now everything, sadly, and pharmacognosy, which is the study of plant medicine, which is you find in now people researching terpenes and cannabinoids and that kind of stuff. But you know, aspirin comes from fucking the bark of the willow tree, right? So there's so much powerful medicine in plants. And I'm being scientific. I could cite the journal articles. I have books. This is why I love books. I have them upstairs with all the journal articles that show the efficacy. Oregano oil, an oil which is pressed, so it's a concentrate of oregano, is stronger and better than amoxicillin with regards to being an antibiotic in many, many ways. Many, many, many ways. And we don't do anything with it. And it doesn't kill the flora in your stomach. And then everybody's like, oh, I'm depressed. And they get on fucking psych meds that lower their fucking serotonin and then have violent side effects of fucking suicidality and homicidal ideation. And then we blame it on guns. Dude, you guys, like, the other guy besides fucking Robert Anton Wilson that you need to read is you need to read Thomas Zaz. I was very fortunate. I gave him, like I gave Carl Gotch's last interview, I was able to give Thomas Zaz his last in-depth long interview on radio. You can go to, if you go to No1, like my logo, No1.ninja, click on that, go to the YouTubes. You could scroll back my old radio shows that were called Mental Self-Defense Radio. And there's the interview that I did with him. It's a great interview. And dude, this was a psychiatrist who rallied against psychiatry and about the bullshit and how he had a book called Pharmacracy, like a big pharma, Pharmacracy. You got to read it. This guy was fucking a genius, and he's right. He's never been proven wrong. He's been vindicated time and time again. Late on arrival. I blame it on the vegans. Oh my God, dude. Listen, I get it. I get the vegan argument. Okay. Wait a minute. I'll get to veganism. Hold on. Who dare says What do you think about Zuckerberg doing MMA now? I think that's a good fucking sign. Okay, because that motherfucking guy was like so detached from humanity. I mean, it's like memes. Like he looks like a fucking alien. Like, dude, right? He looks like Data from Star Trek. Like so detached. And what I love, I actually very, very optimistic because there is no greater truth than MMA, grappling, real martial arts, not the fucking bullshit. Like getting in there in the gym, getting your ass kicked, kicking ass, having good days, having bad days. And I love the atmosphere of like particularly Western martial arts like MMA, boxing, and wrestling that don't have these hierarchies. You can have fucking Zuckerberg and a poor dude on the mat going. You know what I mean? It's a great meeting ground. So I'm actually super stoked that he's doing it. Who dare says, I love oregano. Okay, good, dude. Look up oregano oil, antibacterial properties. Just, dude, they're not going to tell you that. Go watch the fucking news. The news is just there to sell you ads. You understand that? It's not fucking real news. It's a scam. And who's buying all the ads? Every other commercial is some pharmaceutical company with people playing and they're doing a fucking picnic and all this shit. And then the voiceovers, may cause your eyes to fucking bleed and your asshole to fucking shoot out, fucking ooze. And it's like, oh my God, my kids constantly are like, what the hell is this shit? Right? Who dare says, my wife used garlic and olive oil to cure her ear infection. Yeah, I believe it, dude. You think he's legit or is he I have no fucking idea. I mean, I can't really wrestle anymore because of my fucking carotid dissection, but like I'd fucking wrestle him, go wrestle him. I think it's a good thing, dude. I'm sure just like what happens in wrestling, so you get some celebrity, some people treat them with kid gloves because they want them to push the sport and stuff. What's that one? Tom Hardy, I think, is not in that case. He seems like he's actually tough. He's going to high level competitions and winning. Okay, let me get back to vegans. and what else are you saying here? Metaverse MMA. Yeah, I don't know, dude. The metaverse is just a giant fucking scam. To me, that's like straight up go watch the fucking Matrix. Stop being an idiot. Like, I don't know. I just don't see it, man. I saw some stupid thing where people are supposedly making money being strippers in the fucking metaverse. Like, who's spending money on that? That's the dumbest shit. Anyway, who dare says Tom Hardy and Mario Lopez are both legit as hell. Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, guys, don't get down on me because I'm not a gamer, dude. Like, I was a gamer when the Nintendo was new, right? Like fucking Metroid and Vanguard and like those games, dude. Like, I think it was Vanguard. Like, that was my fucking jam. And then, I turned like 16, had a car, and I was like, fuck this shit. This isn't doing anything for me. I know that gaming and like Call of Duty and all this shit is like a big deal to you guys. Dude, I don't know. People are going to be bummed out probably because I understand gaming. It's cool to some extent, but it's this, dude, it's the same value as fucking online porn. It's just a waste of your time ultimately. Like, we live in this fucking world, right? And that's how I feel about the metaverse. I think it's a scam, honestly. I think it's bullshit. Okay, so let's talk about vegans, though. So I sympathize with vegans because, I got a soft spot for animals. I don't like hurting animals or, I don't think that's a good thing to do. However, you have to look at things a little more philosophically and understand that even you fucking vegans are killing to live. That is a principle of life. To live is to kill. I think the only way that you could live without killing would be to live on a diet of, and you could probably do it, and maybe somebody's figured this out, but you would not want to be killing the main plant. You could eat the fruit and you could eat the nuts of the plants. I don't know what you call that. That is about as karma free as you're going to get on this planet. Okay. But I hate to break this to you, man. Like, it's not what you're designed for. I don't think it's healthy, personally. You're in a meat fucking suit that has fucking canines. But you also have molars. You're an omnivore. You eat vegetable. I mean, this isn't even complicated. So I totally get the argument, the ethical argument, but I just don't think that I don't think it holds water when you really, really think about it. When you think about like in a full context of like, dude, everything that lives, with the exception of plants, has to kill because they've figured out how to convert the light of the sun into energy. Okay. But because of that, they can't fucking move. It takes them like 10 years to move an inch or whatever. Okay. It's not a high energy kind of thing. So, yeah, I'm kind of missing your things because there's a little lag at while I bullshit. Sorry about that. Late on arrival. You saying you eat like a mofo. Yeah, I now I'm not gluttonous with it, right? So I'm not just gonna like order food and kill it and then throw it in the trash. Like I don't believe in that. Personally, I don't want to eat anything that's what I call from fucking Cowschwitz. You seen these fucking meat packing places? I call them Cowschwitz. It's just like gross, like awful. These poor animals have got an awful life. So, you know, if I'm going to eat meat, I make sure that it had a good life because that's what I want to consume is something that had at least a good life. You know, I don't know if that makes any sense. I tried getting into organ meats, but it's rough. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's all weird, dude. I'm not into liver. I'm not into heart. When I was a kid, we used to hunt. I grew up in the mountains and we hunted a lot. And I had to eat everything off of, you know, like deer heart and fucking dove heart and liver, like all of it. You fry it up. It's good, man. I'm good. I don't eat fucking insects either. You know, nobody's going to sell me on that shit, dude, ever.
I'm leaving. Bye.
Oh, my wife's leaving. Have fun.
Yeah.
Who Dare 26 says, I've been vegetarian since last June. It's awesome. Good for you, man. It's awesome. Go to town. I mean, I do see the advantages of like for me, I limit red meat. I do. I don't eat a lot of red meat anymore. I eat the fucking hell out of chicken and fish and lean meats, lean cuts of ground beef and whatnot. But and I'll eat lamb. I'll eat venison. I'll eat. I mean, I would probably eat snake or alligator if it was around and it was fucking seasoned right. I don't know, man. Okay, you're losing me, dude. I don't know what the hell you're even talking about. Sorry, that's just my ignorance. My bad. Anyway, guys, man, I've been bullshitting about every fucking stupid thing under the sun. Dude, one of these days I will, when I don't have anything, which is not until probably spring, and I'll probably load everything up before then anyway. I will try to like, because it's legal here in Colorado recreationally. I will try to smoke a bowl on here with you guys. Then it'll get crazy, dude. Then it'll get really crazy. If you think my conversations jump around now, but they go, I think I go deep and I back my shit up. Like I do try to back it up with logic and reason. But man, you can see like, you know, it's going to get very Joe Rogan up in here real fast. So, hey, you guys are the best. I really appreciate you hanging out with me this long. It's awesome. And you guys just keep rocking. Tomorrow, Who Dare says LMAO, laughing my ass off. Nice. That'll be hilarious. I don't know. It'll be hilarious to me. That's for sure. Yeah. So tomorrow, I'm probably not going to be on here. Late on arrival says, thanks for the chat. No problem, dude. Thank you, brother. Good to see you. So yeah, I'm meeting Minoru Suzuki tomorrow, and then I'm watching him wrestle at night. And then the next day is my homeboy, Michael Unbroken. I'm going to be on his podcast. Huge. He's in like the top 10 or something podcast. I don't know. It's his birthday on Saturday. I'm going to hang out with him, have a good time. So I probably won't see you until Monday. And then what the fuck do I got going Monday? Dude, I am so booked. You would not believe I'm about to head into like the craziest busy season ever. Oh, so then on Thursday of next week, I'm heading out to Phoenix. We go to Phoenix, Fort Lauderdale, back to Phoenix, then to Colorado. It's insane. Rob Dent says, where's Suzuki wrestling? He's wrestling in a venue called the Oriental Theater in Denver. It's a very old, you know, like old school theater. It's for a promotion known as Lucha Libre Laughs. So I don't know how that match with the king of pro wrestling, his nasty attitude, what he's going to do in a comedy wrestling venue. I have no clue. I don't know. But I can guarantee you it's going to be fucking amazing. Anyway, guys, I got to jump off of here. My podcasting software is telling me to shut down. So I appreciate you guys. And I will talk to you probably next week. All right, guys. Who dare jumping on. See, dude, you guys with these questions, man, this is how you guys keep me on here too damn long. Time is 6:32. I got to take my kids to grappling here in about 15 minutes. Do you ever come to Washington? Are there any catch wrestling shows up there? No shows. I'm the guy doing shows. I'm the guy who started doing shows. People kind of pick it up here and there, and then they fall off. I've been doing them for fucking since 2007. Either, some sort of competitions. I don't have, dude, I need sponsor money, dude. I would love to take this on the road. My vision is once I can find a sponsor and they understand the value of this and they start making money through the exposure of Shoot Pro Wrestling. My vision here is to do a free show every single month and then ramp that up to every single week. That's my vision. I would love to get doing a show 52 weeks out of the year. Like a legit schedule with legit competitive grappling. That is the vision. People doing the sport of professional wrestling. Catch as catch can. Not the theatrical shit. And I'm not down on it. I did it myself for a minute because I made a fuck ton of money and got to travel. It was cool. Okay. But that's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about real competitive professional wrestling with real wins, real losses, Shoot Pro Wrestling. I've done 3 shows, man. I had guys from the U.S. Greco-Roman team. I had pro MMA fighters, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts. Like, dude, you got to go to YouTube, watch Shoot Pro Wrestling. Bam, bam, what is up, B? Happy to see you. Did you get logged in? You better get logged in. I don't even know if you're watching. Maybe you came in and left. Kareem Mayasser. Oh, yeah. Hey, what's up, dude? So B is a badass lady wrestler. She, like, not pro wrestler, like MMA fighter and wrestler and grappler. Dude, really tough. Been running a camp over where she works out, which is the first American scientific wrestling affiliate fight gym, Vicious Vern Earwood's gym in Aurora called V10 Training. B is like, is B short for Beast? I know your real name, but anyway, you are really awesome. Go watch those videos I sent you for review, please. Anyway, Shoot Pro, dude. So I'd love to bring it up to Washington. I actually have a guy that I'm talking to as an affiliate up there, whether he does anything or not. Dude, I've got leads upside down and sideways. I've had probably about 50 people since I did my formal launch knocking on my door, asking me about this program. Okay. We are now at 9 affiliates. Okay. 9 affiliates. I'm very excited about this. We had one signed yesterday from Orlando. So our newest scientific wrestling fight gym is Grappling Mastery, run by Professor Brian Ruscio down there. And this is a 3rd degree Gracie Barra black belt as well. So anyway, guys, check out scientificwrestler.com. We want to expand. We want to go worldwide. We have our first international affiliate, which is up in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, Scientific Wrestling Canada. Type that into Google or whatever, into your search engine, Scientific Wrestling Canada. I would love to get London. I'd love to get Italy. We're probably very close on Italy. I'd love to get Germany going. Love to get Australia. I'd love to get somebody down at Scientific Wrestling Japan. Okay. So let's make this happen. And I need sponsors so we could showcase the sport, right? Wrestling. B says, I will log in tonight. Awesome. Bam says, I love your killer moves. That's what my wife says. Just kidding. Anyway. Yeah, dude, you need to, I showed B yesterday standing Indian death block from the lockdown, how you counter lockdown with a standing Indian death lock. She was really digging that shit. So, yeah, guys, listen, let's find some sponsors. Let's share around. Go to YouTube. Go to Shoot Pro Wrestling 2. Type it in on YouTube. Watch that shit. It's crazy. That one actually is a great one to show because it's got clearly it's a tag team tournament, so there's a lot of tag team, but there's also single matches and triple shoots, which are basically like triple threat matches in the WWE, but we did them competitively. Absolutely amazing. Those are great ones that's a great one to show. Like I said, right now I'm in the process of having some of my footage edited. That is going to be instructional footage that is for the coaching catch people to help get them up to speed. And so we can start doing remote, so I can start having affiliates that are from overseas, because especially with lockdowns, it's difficult. I never in a million years was going to ever certify unless they were hands-on with me, because that's how I learned. Now I've had to modify it now that everybody's learning remotely and doing Zoom. You still have to certify. You still have to know what's up. You still have to come and train with me, but it's not the exact same if you're in a foreign country. Now, you could go to coachingcatch.com. You can see what the criteria is. You also need to have already got your gold belt, okay? That's the only belt color that matters in Catch as Catch Can, is gold. You need some gold before you actually are going to do that remotely with me, okay? I need to know that your game. I need to know that you know what you're doing already, because those are the ones that truly, I call these camps accelerator camps. Those guys, boom, they just, it's like rocket fuel, dude. It's like a funny car. They just go once they learn this stuff. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you. We are well over an hour. I got to get my kids to grappling tonight. Appreciate you. I probably won't see you Monday or Tuesday. I'll try to get back sooner if I can. Maybe on Sunday. I actually might have some time. I've never done a show on a Sunday, but appreciate you guys. And I will talk to you next week. And watch my Instagram stories and my Facebook stories, because I might have some footage of me going to brunch, my brunch with Suzuki. All right. See you guys tomorrow.